Don't look under the internet.
And thank you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay.
Sink.
Sink.
Uh-oh.
Sink.
Toilet.
Kitchen.
Bathtub.
By the powers combined, we are sinks.
We are plumb.
Bingo.
We've plumbed.
Well, snake eared plumbing. Welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet.
All right,
Oh,
this was
boy.
the worst opening.
This is the worst intro we've ever done.
Hey, you know what?
I'm
If
sure
they're
it's
all
not.
bad,
I'm
if they're
sure
all
it's not.
bad, one has the chance of being good. This is how it works, right?
I don't know if we can top the episode where I was muted for like 15 minutes and just had to cut around all the parts that I was talking. So
I don't know.
I
That's pretty
Everything
good.
about that.
Well, I would like to say hello, everyone. Welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet. Just like Moot said. Speaking of, that's Moot.
I am
That-
I have two faces today.
Yeah, what's your costume?
My costume is a $2 dollar store mask that I thought was cool that I bought. That is the only Halloween decoration costume thing I have in my house at the moment.
Very nice, very cool.
Yeah. I described
That right-
myself as a
Very
fucked up
good.
androgynous Voldemort. So,
You need a wand. Do
go.
you have a wand?
yeah. No, I have this Red Bull.
I have a gun.
Yeah, let me just pull out my Glock
a
real
taser.
quick. I have a fucking
That works
Glock.
just as well. That's Doug, or whatever you're supposed to be.
Howdy, partner.
Who are you supposed to be? What's your costume?
I am very niche JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character named Gyro Zeppeli, but for tonight, Gyro
Zeppeli.
Yep.
Is
But
he
you gotta say it
Italian?
with like, oh yeah, you gotta say it like Gyro Zeppeli, you know?
Gyro
you gotta-
Zeppeli.
Yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
right.
You gotta throw the hand around. a
Gyro
bit.
Zeppeli.
I feel like
Well-
he could make a hell of a Tex-Mex pizza.
Oh yeah, have you ever had spaghetti pizza? Because that's what I imagine
Oh.
they eat.
No.
With
That
mozzarella.
sounds too Italian. It sounds
Yeah, that's too much.
yeah. It sounds like Americans
Well-
took Italy and ruined it.
I
We did.
am Ken, and I am enough,
We'll see
and
about
I'm
that.
great at doing
Enough.
stuff. I got my chain on. I got my bandana. That's a lightning bolt.
Do your chain hang low?
And I am all about
Do it wobble to the flow?
the patriarchy. Yes, it does. Love me the patriarchy. Patriarchy rocks. That's about horses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
I thought
sure.
so. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so. So cool.
What are we
Yeah,
doing?
everyone, welcome. So
What
are
is-
we
yeah.
doing? Do you want to know what we're doing?
Should we address
We're-
the fact that Jason's not here? Jason's not here. He's got a personal thing he has to deal with. Sorry.
Yeah,
He's
he's
here-
he's feeling really
like a true? He's dressed as a ghost because he's here in spirit. You like that shit?
Sure. Sure.
That works.
That was one.
that's Jason.
There we go.
The alien in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jason's not with us, so we are today.
You can't say it like that. You can't say he's not with us.
He's not with us tonight.
Not with us anymore. No, that's not true.
Jason is no longer with us.
He's no longer with us
for tonight
professionally.
only.
Yeah, for tonight
All
only.
right.
Later,
in
we're gonna
peace.
do a fucking like seance and like try to resurrect him. He may be back.
Well,
next
no,
week.
the water that is flowing up in my basement right now is from the Lazarus pit, so I'll just bring him back from
Oh,
that.
okay, cool.
A
Hell yeah.
la Ray Shagul.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
do some sump pump alchemy later.
Some Pump Alchemy sounds
that-
like a punk band.
Put it on the weird band name list.
yeah.
Um,
We're sump pump alchemy.
Some Pump Alchemy. Alchemy.
Fuck
Alchemy.
capitalism.
they're like Guar, but they just spray shit into the crowd the whole time.
Hell yeah.
What
Is that not what Guar does?
Mike
Yeah.
poops in his sump pump. So
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
This is a very special episode. It's this episode that happens once a year. Just once a year. This. All right, Moot, I need you to do a little bit of After Effects here. Give me a little bit of a thunder rumble right here.
Nope. I'm not
Ooh, you
gonna
hear
do
that?
this.
Ooh,
I'm not
thundery
gonna do
rumble.
this.
Oh, was that a witch's cackle? Ooh. Was that a ghost moan? Ooh, we're doing hometown horrors. Ooh.
I remember fucking editing this last year when he was doing this shit, and I was like, "You bitch."
I'm not giving him the satisfaction this time.
No, please do. I'm pretty sure Doug did it once where I'm just like, do you hear that? Is that thunder? And he just did a fart.
It was just fart noises. Yeah, I can't. I don't remember what episode that was,
You
but
just did like
it was pretty
ripping
good.
ass.
It was just fart noises every time. Oh.
Yeah, we're doing hometown horrors. We have a couple stories that the listener, sent us to read, so we're gonna read them. We have a couple longy boys, so we're gonna knock out some of these longy boys first, and we're gonna go from there. But we would like to thank everybody. We'd like to thank each and every one of you that submitted a spoopy, scary story, because they're super fun to read. And as much fun as it is finding creepy things on the internet, things that are real, scary, are just that much more satisfying.
This is
you know?
intimate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Whether,
this
we
whether
is
you
also
intimate.
submitted a longy boy or a chode of a story. Thank you.
we also get we're getting a lot more submitted than we used to, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, last year we were
if-
kind of stretching. This time we
Yeah.
got plenty.
and
last year, I
nobody
think I
specifically requested to read their own stories either, except for one person who actually will not be anymore. However, yeah, just
Yep.
as far as things go tonight.
Yeah, I think last year I had to retell my ghost cop story.
I
I'm
have
pretty
a story
sure-
now, thanks to Doug, but we'll cover that later.
Hell
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna tell it then. Well, boys, do we want to start off? We don't really have any housekeeping today, so that's the scariest part of the episode.
Oh
Um,
no,
So
we're losing interest in everyone.
do you guys want me to start one off,
I
or
want
do
to
you
start
want
with a
to?
what are we drinking? What are we thinking?
Oh shit,
There's a
you're right. This is
bottle here,
an ample time.
and it's
What are you drinking? What are you thinking? There's a bottle here and it's empty. Yeah.
I appreciate that I didn't do it well enough, so you had to redo it. That's
You
fine.
didn't clap. You have to clap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind
it's-
for next time.
Come on, son. This isn't your
Jeez.
first what drink, what think. Get it together. Be
No
professional.
son of mine doesn't clap while he sings the drink.
Because I don't have Jason over here to scream like yeah and clap and shit while I just
Yeah.
watch on like you guys are idiots.
Be professional. We're drinking, for fuck's sake. Moot, what are you drinking tonight for this spooky occasion?
I got a few things. I got Wild Turkey 101. And
Damn.
then I've got a Great Lakes Elliott Ness Amber Lager, which is a brewery from, I believe, Cleveland that I really like, and I really like the aesthetic of all the beers like all their beer labels.
Ooh, I do like a good, like, over the top beer label. There's a place near me called Flight that they have a bunch of like specialty beers, and they have some really good stouts that have some kick ass labels on them.
Hell yeah.
Flight
Doug,
You
is
can
fine.
sell me beer with packaging, 100%.
Yep. Yeah, same. Unless I see the words Indiana Pale Ale on it, that I throw it away
I
because
don't
it's
know what
just
Indiana
garbage.
Pale Ales are. I don't like India
India?
Pale Ales.
They're India Pale Ales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Don't
those suck
blame
too.
us for this shit.
Damn
They-
you, Indiana.
Well, they'll suck too. I hate IPAs. They're garbage. Doug, what are you drinking?
I have some finely crafted Meyer purified drinking water because I'm detoxing my liver.
Hell yeah. Good for
Nice,
you.
nice. I have. Wait, it's stuck. It's stuck. A Coke
Hell yeah.
and our good boy Evie Willies,
The Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
Everton Williams.
Evan Williams, sponsor us. I love you. You're cheap and you get the job done at 43% alcohol. No one does it
My kind
like
of girl.
Evan. Ow. I elbowed the Coke.
You,
I'm
Good
okay.
job.
I'm okay.
You've done it.
But
All
let
right.
me just crack the seal here. And then I'll pour me up a fatty. And by a fatty, I mean just a regular old alcohol.
You just hear it fucking glug 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 glug.
And always,
That's a
whenever
lot.
you say it's a lot, but like whenever you look at it, it's like, damn, I just went through like a quarter of the bottle. No, because they fill it to here.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
it's the neck. There's
the
like
neck
nothing
is
in the neck.
deceiving.
Yeah, so it always looks worse. I always look at it. I'm like, damn, I need
That's
to
what-
stop.
that's what
But then
she
I realized I didn't drink that much. All right, so boys, now that we know that we're getting sloppy, who wants to start off with the stories?
I can start.
Why don't? Yeah, okay, that
All right,
works.
All right.
You have
Who
to
gonna
give me
do?
a-
Who's you doing?
I'll do Winter Shepherd.
Ooh,
right.
I don't know if this is spelled this way when it was submitted or this is just spelled this way in the document because it says
It's probably wrong
Shepherd,
in the.
but I
yeah,
think
it's
it's Winter
probably-
Shepherd.
I'm pretty sure it is. We'll you read. I'll double check.
Okay. All right. This one's pretty long, so thank you for submitting this one. So Winter Shepherd has a very long story for us, and it goes like this. It says,
Yes, it is Winter Shepherd.
yeah, all right, cool. Hello, gentlemen of Diluti, long-time listener, first-time emailer. I just wanted to say first, y'all have had me laughing myself into tears, constantly reassuring the FBI agent watching me that my Google search history is definitely based around ARGs, and in general, just giving me some great conversations with my Xbox. Keep being amazing. Or Xbox, X-Boss, not your Xbox. Sorry. Anywho, I had
sometimes
this
the
weird...
Xbox does that.
Yeah, sometimes you need just anything to talk to. And you know what? I'm not above it either. It's fine. If you want to love your Xbox, you do that. Anyway, I had this
Her
weird
name is Sony.
poltergeist experience around Christmas time of 2015. Since Hometown Horrors is about to roll around, I figured I'd throw my hat into the ring. Thank you again.
You're putting like music in the background, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to put a fire crackle and music
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
actually
making
put
you
effort
work.
into this one.
Was that
That's fine.
a faint wolf howl?
God damn it.
Ooh, that's
I don't know.
scary.
I've never heard of a wolf, but maybe there's wolves around or something. Maybe it's just a fucking fart.
Before I get into it, I'd consider myself a heavy skeptic. Despite growing up in a very religious background, I have a very rational and logical outlook on life. I like to have rational explanations for even the craziest things. I also grew up with a schizophrenic grandma and have seen many, many people with mental health disorders having manic and delusional episodes. So I think a lot of supernatural instances can be chalked up to your brain playing tricks on you. However, this is one instance where I can't deny that I was thoroughly freaked out and have no logical explanations for the craziness myself and 2 other co-workers witnessed. Obviously, all the names of the people involved have been changed for privacy reasons.
There's Dan, Stan, Bran, Man,
Jan, Flan, and his grandma, Gran. Back in 2015, I used to work as a nighttime assistant store manager at a Dollar Tree store in Tampa, Florida. It was a fairly small store in a quiet strip mall on the north side of the county. There were only 6 aisles and about 3 cashier registers. At the back of the store were 2 industrial swinging doors that led into a huge stock room, a small bathroom, which someone stole both the toilet handle and the bathroom door handle twice, and 2 alarmed back doors used for truck day and putting out trash. Attached to the first register station was a balloon filling station and a small cubicle with double-sided glass that was used as the manager's office. We only had about 10 people total working in the store, so most night shifts were 1 cashier and 1 manager. However, during Christmas time, there were usually 3 or 4 of us per shift, 2 to 3 cashiers to clean and run registers and 1 manager to fill stock. It was the week before Christmas, and I was set to work with my best cashier, Kayla, from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. My general manager wanted us to really focus on selling these motion-activated ornaments that she'd just unpacked and put on a shelf at the end of Register 2 facing the back of the store. These ornaments were extremely cheap and barely worked unless you physically shook them. And then they'd only play this hellishly distorted rendition of We Wish You a Merry Christmas. All night, we tested them for customers. Not a single worked by simply walking by. Anyways, the shift gets pretty busy, but uneventful, aside from shoplifters being chased out until closing time. The store closes at 10, and the back store lights are set to go off at 11:30 p.m. unless you hit the on button in the manager's office. We cleaned up the store, took out the trash, activated the back door alarms, and started counting our register tills in the manager's office by 10:55 p.m. So the back of the store was pitch black. You had to put all the money in the deposit bag every night and drive it to the bank overnight drop box at the end of every shift. Kayla and
Now I know the perfect time to rob them.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a lot of information that we could use to plan a heist going on here.
I
Kayla
feel like
and
I'm
I,
getting a fucking workers like intro video on how this place runs. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Kayla and I are rushing to finish up our bank deposit before the front lights went out at 11 p.m. So we suddenly hear the stockroom door slam, followed by a chorus of distorted voices that start singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." Kayla and I are looking at each other like, what the fuck? Especially since I had checked the entire store for stragglers, yet it legitimately sounded as if someone was standing at the end of register 2, shaking all the ornaments. We both stood there frozen, until Kayla decided to stand up on a chair to look out the double-sided glass. Nobody was there. Officially freaked out, I turned on the back lights and shouted, "I'm calling the cops!" We waited for a second, ready to dial 911, but it was suddenly quiet on the floor. I tried to get my shit together, but decided to lock out the deposit in the safe, and we agreed to let the morning shift take it to the bank. As I'm writing the note to my general manager, apologizing for riding the clock and not taking the money, someone starts running, full tilt down the aisles. There was nobody out there, but you could hear the footsteps almost like a bunch of little kids running free range. Kayla and I didn't even clock out. I didn't even lock the main exit door. We ran the fuck out of there. I got my ass chewed out the next shift by the general manager, but Kayla backed me up on the freaky stuff from the night before. My GM was understandably mad, telling us that there's no such thing as ghosts, especially since nothing weird happened the previous night when she worked. To make us feel safer, or maybe to prove that we were lying, she agreed to give me 2 cashiers for the next shift, Kayla and another girl, Lily. Again, nothing out of the ordinary for a busy store Christmas shift until closing time. It was about 10 p.m. We were all in the manager's office getting ready to count our cash with the door open, initially trying to figure out a shortage on Tilly's register until Kayla went out to go to use the bathroom. I sent Lily to check under her register 3, to see if any money had gotten dropped or stuck under the counter. While I watched her from the office, out of the corner of my eye, I see something moving at register 2. It was a long, claw-like hand waving in front of those creepy Christmas ornaments. I screamed, and I ran out to grab Lily, shoving her back into the office and locking the door. Moments later, Kayla came running from the bathroom, pounding on the door and begging us to let her in. She said that she saw a human-shaped shadow in the stockroom and freaked out. Just as I was opening the door to let Kayla in, I wouldn't have done that. Lily screamed that she saw a shadowy person standing by register 3. And in an admittedly asshole move, I threw Lily out of the way and hid under the manager's desk. That's what I'm talking about. While Kayla put some boxes in front of the door, we all started screaming. Contemplated calling the cops, but ultimately decided to shove everything half counted into the safe and make a run for it. Again, I was so panicked that I forgot to lock the main exit door. The next day, my general manager was pissed, telling us to stop being silly and do our jobs. Lily, before the previous night didn't believe me, tried to call out sick, but Kayla beat her to the punch. We had a weirdly tense shift, but again, nothing crazy happened until closing. We were halfway through getting the bank drop together when the ornament started singing again. Freaked out, but more scared of losing my job than anything this time, I decided to ignore it and finish up the deposit bag. As we're leaving the manager's office, Lily screams and takes off running for the front door. She panically tells me that she saw a human-shaped shadow standing in an aisle, only starting to walk towards us as I was looking at the office, or locking the office. Now, there's where I really can't explain any of this. The front door was unlocked, but it wouldn't budge. At this time, I'd like to mention that Lily was tall and pretty athletic. Myself, admittedly a bigger gal, has some brute strength. I've been calling you he this whole time. I'm so sorry. I broke a door.
You
misgendering people. I broke a door from slamming it once. Even with both of us throwing our weight and shoving on an unlocked door, it would not open. It was as if someone was holding it shut from the outside. At this point, I'm frantically crying, probably thinking I'm gonna die, when the door finally flies open. We took off so fast, Lily forgot to even follow me to the bank, forcing me to take all of the money by my paranoid self. She ended up calling out the next day. The next night, I worked with my general manager, and annoyingly, nothing happens. Absolutely nothing. No ornaments, no footsteps, no shadow people, just a normal ass shift. At this point, I was real sick of this ghost or whatever it was as shit, and I asked a rather superstitious friend of mine how to get rid of evil spirits. My friend suggested holy oil. Yeah, I rolled my eyes too, and putting crosses over the doors. After another night of possessed ornament serenades and shadow people lurking through my store, I decided it wasn't such a stupid idea. Probably due to me being unable to get my shit together, my general manager finally put me on a morning shift. I got there a bit earlier, putting oil crosses above all the doorways and saying a quick blessing before store open. I'm not a religious person, though I was raised in a religious home, but it was kind of comforting that maybe it could work. Strangely, it was really calm the rest of the day in the store. The next night shift I had, my general manager started randomly talking about one of our ex-assistant managers who had been fired a few months before. Apparently, she randomly came by the store and apologized, but didn't elaborate any further. Jokingly, she told me that I'd rid the store of evil, adding that our ex-manager claimed to practice voodoo. Now, whether or not it was a poltergeist or some crazy voodoo revenge from a jilted manager, I have no idea. A part of me doesn't want to know. One thing for sure, this is the only tangible encounter with the supernatural, if you want to call it that, that's happened to me. While it bugs me, there's no logical explanation. It still gives me and whoever I tell the story to the creeps. I work in a hotel in the ghetto now, so I see scarier things than ghosts or voodoo and demons, but maybe one day I'll have another ghost story to tell. Until then, stay amazing and safe. Invariant Overlord.
Hell yeah.
That's good shit right there.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. It was really well written. Good job. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that was
very
fantastic.
well written.
So here's the thing. I'm going to tell all you listeners this. If you have a ghostly or supernatural event that keeps happening to you, like it's a reoccurring thing,
Mhm.
I'm not going to tell you to spend your money, but get a GoPro, slap it on your forehead. That way you can record whenever you see shit when you're going around looking at shit.
Yeah, 100%. Why does this shit always happen? We have so many devices that can record things now, and these things happen, and nobody's recording them.
Mm-hmm. Zach Bagans.
Yeah.
How dare
Just wear
you?
Google glasses all the time. Constantly
Zachary Bagans. I just want to fight a ghost.
Very scary story though. You know what you should do? Is Winter Shepherd, Winter Soldier. What was it? Winter
Invariant
Soldier.
Overlord is how they sign the email, so I'm gonna go with that instead.
Variant Overlord. Here's what you
Yeah,
do.
there was like 3 names. I didn't know which one to pick, so
You gotta go back. You gotta go back to the store and see what happens. You might have been a catalyst or something.
the Dollar Tree.
We gotta go back. We gotta go back, Mahdi. We gotta go back. See what happens. Who knows? Maybe you might trigger something.
Yeah.
Who
I don't
thought?
know. I think you should submit this to Zach Baggins. This Dollar Tree may finally be the thing.
Ghost
I was
Adventures at
I was gonna say,
gmail.com or whatever.
Yeah.
Lissa had her ghost or her Dollar Tree haunted story for us too. Fucking
Lissa's
wonder
got one?
what that about. Yeah, she told us a year or two. I don't remember which year, but she told us her story. Remember? No,
No.
it's fine. It's fine. She did
Not
though.
at
It was about a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree or whatever. But
Cash.
yeah, it's just funny that they're so haunted.
Because
Yeah.
people are dying for those savings, dude. You know, it's that easy.
I will say,
And
like,
you said
good,
you were a
good
big
boys.
metal fan.
I will say, we didn't do a very good job vetting any of these stories. So as if we're just almost like reading these for the first time,
Yeah.
like right here.
Yeah, if we get like
I-
halfway
I
through one and
prefer
it's
that.
just total shit, we're just gonna roll with it. So
I prefer that
well-
we're reading for the first time. It adds an air of a genuineness to it.
A little spook penis.
A little
yeah.
spook penis.
Real reactions,
right.
raw reactions,
Yeah.
live.
Real raw.
Fucking raw as hell.
Alright.
Speaking of raw, I think I'll go next and I'll read Toast Crumble's
Hell
story.
yeah.
Toast crumble.
That's a raw name.
Toasticle Crumbles. All right. So, this is by Mr. or Ms. Toast Crumble. Actually, I'm not 100%
Don't
on
make
that,
my
but
mistakes.
yeah, I don't
Learn.
want to assume their gender. So, yeah, Toast Crumble story. I've only ever told 2 other people this story, not because I want to keep it secret or anything, but because even for me, it's weirdly disjointed and unbelievable. One of the 2 that I told had a similar experience. This is the story that explains why I'm obsessed with horror as I am, though I gave up on trying to find any sort of lead or connection with anything I've found online. This isn't supernatural, and I haven't found any patterns to follow or any of the other children that I remember being there. When I was young, I had a very chaotic life. I'm not going to go too deep into the baggage here. Suffice it to say, I'm surprisingly well adjusted if my memories from childhood are somewhat in a shamble. One day, I remember my mother taking me on a drive that was super long, winding forest shrouded highway. There's plenty of those here in Michigan, for better or worse. In my case, it's definitely for worse. I could spend my entire life trying to map every single road that crisscrosses the Great Lakes state and still probably never come across the place I remember her driving to. She was silent the entire ride, which suited me just fine as I always had my face buried in a book or in my Game Boy. What was unusual and made me uneasy at first was the silence. Normally you can expect to hear traffic, or in the boonies, such as they are in Michigan, wildlife. It's surprisingly abundant here, and in my mom's car you could always expect to hear some oldies playing, or American Top 40, things like that. But that day there was no Beach Boys, no Simon and Garfunkel, none of the typical soundtrack of daily life for a millennial with a boomer parent. Pure, unadulterated silence. And in that silence, she pulled quietly off the highway and onto a long, dark road, practically hidden by a canopy formed from old pine trees. Pines aren't usual here, but having so many that were clearly ancient and clustered together along the edge of a road, well, that's probably a bit more unusual. I remember the building that we drove up to. It was imposing, a solid face of cold. Uncaring concrete and dark windows with thin, moth-eaten draperies that danced around the window frames like so many misty specters, directed in their movements by unseen drafts. It was tall. My child self thought at the time it may have been the tallest building I'd ever seen that hadn't been on television. I'd like to clarify here that I have no idea what the original purpose of the structure was. My memory seems to match with an abandoned mining facility / elevator complex, but I checked that out a couple of years ago and the facade was completely different. If possible, however, the mining facility, having been abandoned more than a decade or two before my small adventure to it, showed more recent signs of life than this old building ever did. Even in my memory, childish fantasy, maybe, or so I'd like to tell myself. I don't remember my mother actually speaking to the woman who received me at the front. She ushered me along to the back of the building after my mother, normally a very anxiety-ridden but loving woman, drove off without a word. In the back of the building, I met an assortment of other children, all of whom stayed fairly silent, even when I tried to introduce myself. I didn't have any friends anymore at that point in my life. It was a tumultuous period that included a lot of moving around, and not very much time to get acquainted with any classmates or neighborhood kids. One girl spoke up and introduced herself as and her younger sister. However, when I try to recall their names, I only remember static. There was a rather rotund boy who seemed like he may have been a year or two older than me, and a skinny kid who seemed about my age, but lanky and gawky with a bowl cut and overly large ears. To the left, a dark shed, ahead a small grouping of mud puddles, and behind that a rather steep hill that led upward into a dense, dark, and altogether terrifying forest. The only one I've ever felt a strange urge to stay out of. I'm a nature lover and always have been. To this day, I enjoy hiking, rock climbing, disc golf, and so forth, but that forest, it gives me chills to recall how cold, empty, and dead it seemed. The woman who attended the children was dressed in what could be described as a Sunday finery among the truly God-fearing. Not quite a nun's habit, but not quite contemporary either. Her attire consisted of a simple black dress with a large white cloth over the shoulders, neck,
Tights
and
underneath.
chest. And then, anyways, embroidered onto the dress with a simple
And the
black
Reeboks with
thread,
the straps.
and the boots with the fur. Where am I? Fuck me. Okay. At the time, I recall vaguely wondering if she was some sort of Civil War reenactor or something similar. Her expression almost never changed from a lifeless facsimile of a plain smile that definitely never reached her eyes, which were striking yet cold, pale, almost dead blue. She might have been pretty if she seemed like she might have been pretty if she seemed less like some sort of mannequin come to life. Mind you, I only ever saw the woman one at a time, but it was one of the two caretakers that I saw there, and one of 3 adults that were actually present. There was an older woman dressed similarly, but who had a fiery temper and whom seemed to enjoy punishing the children for any perceived rule breaking, apparently including spanking when not spoken to, speaking when not spoken to. I don't know what the fuck spanking when not spoken to is, but
Sounds pretty okay to me.
Oh, Jesus. We found a new kink for Mike. All right. I found out very quickly why the other children were always so quiet. I remember very quickly becoming bored with the minimal, sad collection of toys that were kept on hand for free time. The rest of it, I also don't remember. All I can recall is being led in single file up flights of stairs and each child directed into a different room. When I try to think of what happened in the room I was directed into each day, there's just nothing. Entire hours, days, maybe even weeks worth of time just compromising gaps of in my memory. Maybe it has something to do with the room chosen for each child changing every day. I wasn't the last arrival. Halfway through my stay at whatever the place was, the new girl was dropped off. I remember thinking she was very pretty with black curly hair and a swarthy olive complexion and deep dark brown eyes that seemed equally happy to see other kids and terrified of the entire situation. Her name is the only one I can remember. Amelia. Ooh.
Ah.
Ooh.
Oh, ooh, scary.
Amelia Earhart.
Flew a bunch of airplanes. Except for that one time when she didn't
There you
come
go.
back. All
Someone
right,
had to finish it.
I couldn't not finish that. Okay, so she never made it into line and never got put up into one of those rooms. Almost immediately after seeing her own mother drive away, she burst into inconsolable tears, and the older caretaker wouldn't stand for it and even took to making the skinny boy go and get a switch from the forest that she threatened the girl with. She took poor Amelia by the arm and marched her upstairs, warning all of us not to follow, to be obedient and to stay where we were, or we'd be going to his office as well, and I don't recall ever seeing him except for once out of the corner of my eye.
Voldemort?
He who we do not talk about. As far as I knew, until that moment, the only adults that were there were the two women who I thought couldn't stand each other since I never saw them together. I've always been a night owl. I guess living chaotically kind of does that to you. If you're a kid, well, I decided I felt bad enough for Amelia and I wanted to know what happened. So in the dead of night, I crept carefully up the stairs from the first floor where we all slept on haphazard bunks in what seemed to be an old cafeteria. My idiotic child brain obviously hadn't realized that concrete stairs wouldn't creak the way wooden floorboards did, but old habits die hard, and being careful and sticking to uncertain shadows was certainly a habit my
You don't
young
want to make
self
that
had ingrained.
RPG noise. It's like click, 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 click.
Yeah, right. You gotta be able to pass those stealth checks.
Mhm.
Okay, I've just lost my place, son of a bitch. Okay, upon reaching the top floor, I suddenly felt a panic at my own stupidity. I knew how angry the old woman got, and between her threats of not knowing how long I was to stay, who knew how bad I'd be making my own life if I got caught. But I carried forward anyway, wisdom not yet drawing the fine line between bravery and foolishness that I can recognize as an adult. There was only one door at the top floor, and a very solid-looking, heavy wooden door. It was partially open, spilling light from a guttering old lantern into the hallway, and shifting the shadows into what looked like serpents, boogeyman, or a haunted other childish fear. I slipped into the room quietly and saw the lantern perch on a small dresser to one side, a small desk in the middle, and a portrait on the wall to the right opposing the lantern. I looked at the list on the desk, and I saw my own name and about 24 other names. The only two that stuck out in my memory are mine and Amelia's. I recognized the names of the other children, of course, at the time, but when I struggled to work my way up the list from memory, the writing just disassembles itself and slides off the page. Every other name on the list was crossed out, including the one just below mine, Amelia. Cold fear gripped me then in a way that it hadn't on the staircase or in the hallway filled with shifting shadows. I didn't know what the list really meant, and I still don't. I sort of never want to. I was paralyzed with indecision. Between taking the list and walking down one side of the seemingly endless U-shaped driveway and onto the highway in a desperate effort to find a phone, a cop, anything, or going downstairs and pretending I'd seen nothing. I chose the smart, if cowardly, route and turned to leave, but then a voice stopped me. I was frozen in the doorframe, too shocked to move beyond, when I heard the old woman directly behind me and felt her breath. Sickly sweet, like all things rotten and decayed on the back of my neck, it was shockingly cold instead of warm. Though no less damp for it, you shouldn't be out of bed. The next day, my mother pulled...
You have to say that like an old lady.
You shouldn't be out of bed. Was that me?
Or like
breathy?
salad. I imagined a salad fingers.
You shouldn't be out of bed.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Almost
Uh,
orgasmic.
Cool. Yeah, where are we?
Neato.
All right. I felt sharp stabbing pain near my elbow and my ankle, and that woke me enough to get me tearing down the hallway, down the stairs, and under the thin bedding that helps all children feel like they are impenetrable barrier against the horrors of the night. The next day, my mother pulled up to collect me. Only once we turned onto the highway did she turn to me, smile, and ask if I enjoyed my time at the science camp that I truly believe she thought she had left me at. Past the 7th mile marker, she even popped in one of her CDs, Bob Seger no less. I quietly tried to reconcile her experience with mine, but to no avail, while playing Pokemon in the back seat. At least she put new batteries in my Game Boy. I've
What
tried for
starter did you
years.
choose?
Who
We need to know that follow up.
sounds like a Squirtle,
Yeah, I was
but
about to
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you. I've tried for years to find information ever since. I still have a small pitted scar on my right ankle and a Y-shaped one on my elbow. The top line in the Y has faded over time, so it's become more of a straight line unless you look very, very closely. When I turned 22 and vaguely remember these events, I even dug one of my mom's old boxes of childhood nothings that she had kept of mine out of the deeper portions of a closet, and I looked at my homework from earlier in the year, and one of those summertime homework activity books that had also come with really basic educational computer games. 3 months were missing from it. My mother never remembered a thing and claimed I got the scars in an accident in our old neighborhood. Thing is, I've never fallen off my bike except for one time when I was a few years older. I have no idea where my 3 months went or any of the other children. To this day, digging into that memory fills me with unease at best and complete and utter dread at worst. I've asked my sisters about it in the 6 or 7 years since our mother had passed, but they claim to remember me going to summer camp. I didn't attend a summer camp until middle school. I decided to share with you in the hopes that someone somewhere had a similar experience to mine. Maybe they'll hear it on Diluti, and if not, then that's okay. Something tells me I'd rather not know the entire story. The end.
Whoa. What the
Here's what you got to
fuck?
do.
Okay.
You got to go back.
You got to go back. We got to go back.
GoPro on the head.
We
so
got to
we
go
can
back to
see
the
it.
tall building.
You got to go back to the tall building. This fucked up Hogwarts.
Do you remember the name of the camp? And have you tried to Google it? Because
No, I'm sure if they did, they would have.
you don't know that.
You know.
You could probably Google
They
like
might have
camps
been
in an area.
Yeah, they might have been so upset by their trauma that they couldn't remember. There's plenty of shit that I did that, like,
Oh, I've done
I
a
don't know.
lot of shit in my day that I do not remember. I don't remember. I have no memories from ages like 9 and below.
yeah.
None. I don't remember anything. So you could tell me that I fell off a bike at age 7, and I'll believe you, even if I've never met you before,
Right.
because your odds are as good as mine at knowing that.
That's kind of where I was
Yeah,
going. Where I derailed my own thought was like, there's a lot of stuff I don't remember. Like I don't know if somebody was like if my mom tried to tell me something happened, that I would just be like, I don't remember that happening, and so therefore it didn't happen. I think I would just be like,
Yeah.
all right, fuck it, whatever.
Right.
I feel that. I think there's also like pivotal memories that you have that like I have these like pivotal memories of like these really random things that happened when I was a child. Couldn't tell you like what age I was or anything like that, but I just remember that thing, and it's very short and very small thing, but it's like all right, I like that is the only thing I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good story though. I like it. Spoopy.
That is very, very spooky.
Hopefully somebody else
Yeah.
has found this lost summer camp or knows of this lost summer camp in a creepy tower in Michigan.
It's given me the oh shit, what was that fucking boarding school we read about called or we talked
Oh,
about?
Elon
Elon
School.
School.
Yeah, Elon School. That's where you
See,
were at,
I
buddy.
was, I was imagining, what's his name? The castle of the evil scientist from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh god. Yeah.
What's his name?
Ah, I don't. I
picturing
can't.
that.
Is it? No. I'm thinking of Rocky Horror. I was gonna say Dr. Frankenfurter, but yeah.
That is not.
Anyways,
Moot. Also, not to sidetrack, but I have noticed you sipping from 3 different
Hell yeah.
containers.
Bro, I'm fucking I'm on one tonight, all right?
My guy's on one.
Hell yeah.
he's
I
got to
got-
have a fun drink, a drink to hydrate, and then a drink to get drunk.
Yeah, I got my caffeine. I got my yeah, like you said, my fun drink, my sipping drink. And then I got my the hard stuff for when
How-
yeah, I'm just fluctuating through emotional states. tired, chilling, and just like really needing to cover some shit up.
Oh yeah.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. It's my turn.
All right.
This
Yes.
is a story all about how local eight. It's from a member named Local HGB. We're abbreviating the last one because we don't
Yeah.
want to say the last bit because
People,
I don't
if you want us to read your things, sometimes some of you need to
keep it
need
a
to
little,
clean up your usernames.
Yeah.
Okay, learn from my mistake real quick. Sorry, personal anecdote time. I used to have this incredibly cringy email address and username that I used for everything when I was a teenager, and I used it until my freshman year of college. And I'm not going to say what it was, but it was.
No, do it.
No, I'm not going to. But it was moderately offensive, and I kept my school email address and this email address logged in on my phone at all times in the same mail application. Got an email from one of my professors one time about something super important. Totally responded to it and responded from the wrong account. And definitely got a message back from my professor that was like, in the future, you should probably think about. And from that point forward, I have very much thought about the usernames that I use on things online.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
dumpster69@hotmail.com.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking aim days where you'd like change your your aim name like 100 times and it would just be really dumb shit. Like I think one of my old ones was like suck on my long one for a while. Just like dumb shit.
I would just like keep
it.
remaking new AIM accounts and like having to re-add my entire friends list because I wanted a different username.
So Local HDB has sent us 2 stories. I'm only going to read one for right now. And if we have time at the end, maybe I'll get back to the other one. But so this one, they even said, is their second story. Anyway, let's set the mood here. Cue that creepy music. Mood. There it is.
Oh, is that
All
a
right.
fart? Oh shit.
Yeah. So for this one, this time I was. It's Juan Cena. This time I was 15. I lived in Arizona, a big place for skinwalkers. So you kind of know where this is going. The neighborhood I lived in was always pretty busy in the day, but dead silent in the night. You were lucky to see one person out walking or driving. This isn't too strange, though all the houses are nearly the same, and the street lamps just make it all feel even more empty and odd. This story takes place at night. I was walking alone and I heard something. Obviously, I'm gonna check it out because usually nothing happens around this time, and I was a stupid teen. The perfect scene for a horror movie. I had to head down a gravel pit into an area with trees. What, did you have to? Had to head down this gravel pit into an area with trees. Not a lot, but enough so you couldn't see very well. Eventually, I got close enough to see what looked like a dog, but everything was off. After getting closer, it more resembled a coyote, but no normal coyote. Its limbs were weird, quite large and a lot bigger than what they should look like. And it had an arched back and an odd face. It was standing weird, and the sounds it was making did not sound like a coyote. It looked and sounded very man-like and humanoid. This scared the crap out of me, and I ran so fast. Through the empty streets, barely illuminated by the dim street lamps, barely able to form a thought. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what the thing was, or if skinwalkers are real, but that's one of the few times that I actually thought I would die. If skinwalkers are real, what I said that day was either the most grotesque costume, the result of something getting to the coyote, or a skinwalker. I'm not sure which one sets me off worse. The idea of real skinwalkers or something able to do that to a coyote. I genuinely wish I made this up, and I understand all doubt, but I swear it's happened, and I will stand by it. And then they even said, looking back at the first one, it's not as interesting, but I hope you guys find it cool or whatever. So kind of set me up pretty nice to read that second one. But that's pretty creepy. You saw a skinwalker, a regular old Wendigo man.
Skimb.
Wendigo.
yeah.
Where'd you
Confirmation.
Wendigo?
The
Skimb
authority.
walker. Wow.
Wendigo, where'd you Wendigo?
Where to go?
Where'd you
Who to
go?
go?
Where to
Wendigo,
go?
Where'd you go? And it's a
Cotton-eyed
shorter one.
Joe.
Cotton-eyed Wendigo.
Cotton-eyed go.
Cotton-eyed go. That was a shorter one, but ooh, I love me a good skinwalker story. They're so creepy, peepy.
Creepy
Creep.
paper.
Creepy,
Creepy
paper.
paper.
Creepy.
Yeah, Mo. I guess it means it's my turn, huh?
Yes, it is.
All right.
What are these accents here?
I'm just on one, man.
It's
the
my turn
combination
now.
of the beer, the Red Bull, and the fucking wild turkey.
We're seeing Marvelous Moot at his
Yeah.
finest.
Yeah, I'm getting crunk.
Malicious Moot.
Speaking of getting crunk, I'm gonna read Kruger's story.
Ooh,
This
that is
another
crunk.
long one.
You should bust out a blunt while you do this.
Hell
It-
yeah. All right,
Cronk along.
Kruger, you're up. This better be good. So, so Kruger says, "Hey, I've got a long but wild story.
Hey,
hey,
listen to me.
hey, I've got a story.
Hey,
Hey, I've got a long but wild story. This experience changed my life and how I look at the world completely. I hope at the very least you all enjoy the read. Feel free to contact me with any questions or clarifications. We're going to give you our questions right now. The names in this story have been changed for anonymity purposes. My name has been unchanged. Several years ago is when I first fell in love with ghost hunting. I had some experiences before this and enjoyed learning about the paranormal, but it wasn't until I met my friend Alan and he introduced me to the hobby that I fell down the rabbit hole. It was 2010 and I was 19. There was a very well-known asylum in town that had been host to a lot of very awful things. It had housed the physically and mentally infirm. Parts were still in use at this time, but luckily conditions had vastly improved. On this specific night, myself, Alan, and one of his friends, Harry, had decided to sneak onto the property and explore the abandoned parts. Everyone who knew of this place and its history knew something dark lived there. On top of all the other spirits people would talk about experiencing. We wandered for a couple hours, seeing a lot of disturbing and decrepit things, but no haunts or haints of any kind. We had
Haints.
a few haints.
It's like a taint.
Yeah.
What's a haint?
It's a haunted taint. It's a creepy gooch.
a
cooch.
ghoulish gooch.
We had a few more spits we could safely hit. Okay, spots, I'm assuming. We had a few more spots we could safely hit without getting caught or getting injured, so we decided to first hit the tunnels. There were a few tunnels on the property that connected specific buildings, mostly for maintenance, but there were plenty of stories of residents spending their last hours alone and out of sight in them. That's fucking depressing. We picked our way down into one. It went for quite a ways into a hill, but unfortunately had collapsed maybe 2/3 of the way in. We moved slowly, making jokes and stopping to look through rubble and papers. A lot of office furniture was down there, a few beds and wheelchairs too. I moved ahead to investigate some file folders on the ground nearest to the caved-in area. I was only maybe 20 feet ahead of the other two. I felt a slight breeze, not too strange for being near a hole to the outside world. That's when I heard it, the most blood-curdling scream you could imagine. I felt it more than I heard it. My whole body tensed up and started shaking. I was frozen on the spot. When it finally stopped, I took a moment to regain my senses. I looked back to Alan and Harry in the beam of light. I could see how scared they were. We bolted. We didn't stop running until we got to the access road we had followed to find the tunnel. We walked in silence back to Alan's car. Then we just sat, sort of taking it all in. Then he went home. It wasn't for a couple of days that we talked about what had happened. Alan and Harry were hesitant, but I felt like we needed to. They're going back!
Finally, someone listened to us.
To compare notes. Things were strange for me after I had gotten home. Weird things like missing objects and missing time. We met a couple of days after. They had heard the scream, but not as loudly or as physically as I had. I explained how I felt, how long it felt like it lasted, and some of the issues I was dealing with. They had the same look on their faces that they had had that night. Kelsey, the scream was wild, but that's not what scared us. You disappeared. I shined my flashlight on you, and you were gone. Just a dark spot. Alan choked the words out, Harry nodding the whole time. You just phased back into the light after a bit. It was surreal. We talked a while longer, and Harry suggested that I reach out to someone if things continue. Things continued. The next couple of days, I kept losing time and misplacing objects. By the time a week had passed since the incident, things escalated. It was early in the morning, sometime before sunrise. I awoke with a jolt. I felt like I was being watched. I looked around my dark room but saw nothing. Then I tried to move. I couldn't. Panic set in. I laid there unable to move for several minutes. Then it went away, and I was free. I didn't get back to sleep that morning, though I thought maybe it was just sleep paralysis. No big deal. It happened the next morning, though. And the next. 5 straight days. Always the same. I had had enough. I reached out to a friend who knew more about these things, and she directed me to a medium that she knew. From the moment she greeted me at her door, she gave me a sideways look. Pleasantries were cast aside as I told her everything that had happened, going all the way back to the night of the incident. I included what Alan and Harry had told me. You're being oppressed, she said so flatly. I almost didn't register it at first. What? What does that mean? The dark spot that obscured you. It attached itself to you, followed you home, and has been feeding off of you. It's a malevolent spirit, and it wants to hurt you. I couldn't believe it.
What an asshole.
Can you see it now? Is it there with me? What is it exactly? I could feel the panic rising in my voice. She calmed me and explained that yes, she could see it. It was a woman. She was furious and trying as hard as she could to completely envelop me. She had to prepare some things, but said she could help me. I should come back tomorrow afternoon. She suggested that I bring someone I trust. I went home feeling numb. I was still in disbelief and worried what the night would bring. The same as before. Being held tight to my bed, I convinced Alan to come with me back to the medium's house. He reluctantly joined me. We arrived at her place, and she immediately began the cleansing process on Alan and myself, preparing us for what was to come. There were 2 other people in her sitting room. I didn't catch their names. At this point, my ears were ringing. I felt nauseated and angry. She was angry. I honestly don't remember what happened. My first real experience with blacking out. Alan told me later that I tried to attack the medium a few times. He had held me back. I apparently vomited a couple of times. Some glass broke. The next thing I actually remember is sitting in one of the medium's couches. I was exhausted. Alan looked concerned. The medium assured me it was over. The spirit had been driven off. I went home feeling good. I woke up at like 3 in the morning. At least my clock said as much. I rolled onto my back, and there in front of me was a woman, standing at the side of my bed, bent over my face. She didn't look sinister. She could have been my neighbor, a smile on her face, wearing a gown of some sort, dark hair. She placed a hand on my chest, then through my chest. I gasped out. The pain was excruciating. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't scream. All I could do was look at her until she covered my eyes with her other hand. I woke up late in the day. I felt drained. Something was wrong. I called the medium and told her what I remembered. She seemed concerned and confused, and that she'd call me back in a bit.
Oops, I accidentally used the extra ghost.
Yeah, I just imagine her like looking at like 2 like pieces of paper, just like, fuck.
She has one that's like dispel ghosts, and the other just says "Oops, all ghosts." And she's just like, "Oh shit,
Whoopsie.
oops,
Like,
all
yeah, I actually
ghosts."
sent you home with another one.
that's my
on
bad.
me.
Oh shit, Hitler's possessing you now.
I got the call and rushed over. I met a gentleman there named Greg. Hey, Greg. Greg was a skilled spiritual healer and shaman. That's exactly what I expect out of a guy named Greg. He was going to free me of this oppression. I laid down on the floor of the sitting room. He was burning some
Free
herbs
that
and
oppression.
incense. The smoke was thick and wafted over to me. He began chanting.
I thought you were gonna do. They're gonna do the corn. Yeah, there it is.
Beckoning the spirit to show itself to him. The anger welled up in me again. It was a rage, and it took everything.
Arise, chicken.
And it
arise.
took
Arise,
everything I had
chicken.
not to attack him. This is serious. Suddenly, I felt a terrible pain in my chest. My vision went for a moment, and it hurt so bad. He reached down and marked my face and arms with something. I felt weak. I could hear screams in my ears. Glass in the house rattling, furniture too. Then suddenly, a weight lifted off of me. I passed out. I was only out for a few minutes. They helped me sit up. I was free, finally. Greg informed me that while it looked like a woman, like a spirit, it wasn't. Something dark and inhuman had grabbed a hold of me. I was lucky that I acted as quick as I had. It took a couple of weeks, but I eventually was myself again. Hadn't had one resurgence since.
Good thing she had a fucking mud shaman or druid or whatever
Yeah.
with her.
A mud shaman.
Thankfully, Greg was just
Yeah.
in the
Greg's
fucking
a
yellow
master.
pages. Shaman, all the day.
She found him on the thumbnail.
This story reminds me of a movie called
Craigslist.
fucking Shudder.
Mm.
Oh
Where-
yeah, Shudder.
I don't not the bullshit American remake, but like the original one. I mean, they're the same shit, but
Yeah.
It's just on Craigslist wanted, one shaman.
I got a response from Greg. You think we should send him in? Yeah, send him in.
Hook us up
all
with
right.
Greg. We should go do some sort of medium thing sometime.
Yeah,
Right?
can we do that?
Yeah.
Can I get
Send
my
us,
palm read?
send us Greg's deets.
I know a tarot
Yeah.
card lady. We could set up an appointment.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think everyone and their mother knows a tarot reader. All right. I guess I'm up next. I'm gonna
Sure
go
is.
ahead.
That was
And,
a creepy one though,
um,
not gonna lie. Like I don't wanna I wanna spend a little 2 seconds here, but that was creepy.
Yeah.
Like possession things like that always kind of freak me out because
No, that
just
felt like a horror movie for sure.
it started
Yeah.
off giving me vibes of the whole like the 4D lamp thing that was like collapsing on itself. The story went over a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me like vibes of that at first, and then just went downhill to a fucking demonic demon possession.
There's also a little bit of Ted the Caver going on.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. They went back in Ted the Caver. They were like,
Yeah.
"Yo, guys, we gotta send it
Yeah,
back, right?"
I'm gonna say the
Um,
same thing as the other ones. You got to go back. Strap that GoPro right on the forehead.
Yeah.
Get your ass back in that
We
forest.
need a follow up. We'll pay
Yeah.
for the medium to fucking exercise you again.
No, Greg. We'll find Greg. We'll get him a
we'll
retainer.
get Greg.
give me Greg.
We'll pay for
I don't
Greg's
want to do it
services.
if it's. No, I agree though. I think possession and like that kind of shit is like probably my favorite type of creepy story. To be fair, so very good, very well written.
Very
We're
nice.
fucking. I don't know,
Hey,
like
guys.
4 for 4 now. Four for 4.
Yeah, no crappy ones.
fo-
Four for 4.
Good job, everybody.
Not
Thank
a,
you.
not a
We're pulling a Wendy's.
not a single
This is
goob.
Wendy's.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Doug.
Well, I guess I will read our next story, which is by Flannery Crump. And they
They've been a
write.
patron at some point. I don't know if they still.
I
are.
think I think they still are. Yes, I believe they still are.
You better be.
So, howdy, y'all. I'm a big fan of the pod and also a local. So so is the story. So when I was a kid, I went to a summer Girl Scout camp in central Illinois. It's a small camp outside of the equally small town of Gilman, Illinois. This camp was called Wahanaha, and it was full of fun, racist, indigenous names like that. I went every summer from the age of, I think, 9 to 12. One year, my Girl Scout troop decided to do some winter camping. Since we were not hardcore like that, we rented a cabin from the Wahanaha camp. The cabin is called Morning Star, which I always found weird considering the association with the name of Satan. Girl Scouts is low-key Christian in some areas. The cabin is pretty cool. It's got a huge stone fireplace and chimney, a kitchen, and stairs up to a big loft, which overlooked the living area.
Doug, ghost! Ah!
Thank you.
Ghost!
Yeah,
The
I heard
alien.
it falling down, and yeah. Anyways,
The alien fell over. It knows. It's a ghost.
Tabitha will protect you.
all right. Where was I? Fuck. If I recall, we only stayed 1 or 2 nights. On the first night, I had a fun little surprise planned. I planned
Ooh,
it
a
with my
little
2
bit of
best friends who
surprise.
were in the troop, but the rest of the girls weren't in on it. I had written up a juvenile slasher story featuring a cast of girls very much like ourselves who were all brutally murdered in the very same cabin we were staying in. Very classic, very childish, but it was super effective. I pretended to find the story, crumpled in tea-stained printer paper, of course, hidden under a cot, and then I read it to everyone in the firelight. Everybody got so freaked out that they made me burn the story in the fireplace. I got a good laugh out of the whole thing, but I also kind of freaked myself out, and I felt better when the story had been burned. The next day, one of my best friends kept acting weird, but nothing crazy. In the early afternoon, all of us dumb kids went for a walk in the woods, and one of the girls fell through the ice of this creek. She wasn't hurt, but we all freaked out because we thought she might get frostbite since it was the middle of winter, and thankfully we got her back and warmed her up, and she was totally fine. So that's pretty much the story. Nothing supernatural, just some girls spooking each other, until, cut like 20 years or later to 2022, me and my two best friends from Girl Scouts are still in touch. We discovered that Camp Wahanaha is currently abandoned.
Ooh.
The camp was eventually too expensive for the so they sold the land to the state in roughly 2003, and the state wanted to convert the land into something with a similar camp design, but they haven't done anything with it for years, so the entire camp has just been standing abandoned. We decided to go for a visit of our old camp and check out how creepy
Hell yeah,
and overgrown.
thank you. They went back.
They went back. All right. So we decided to go visit our old camp and check out how creepy and overgrown it had gotten. It was a trip. All of the windows in the buildings were busted out, tons of weird graffiti over everything, and an abandoned van. I'll include some pics in this email, but there's lots more. I don't actually remember seeing pictures in the email. I'll have to check that when I go back.
All right,
so
stop the story. She fucked up. Stop the story.
Nope.
We're done.
Fuck you.
Pack it
Shut
in.
up. Eat shit. All right. When we got to the Morningstar cabin, we reminisced about our time camping there and my creepy fake ass story. My one friend said, "Hey, I never told you this because we were already freaked out, but I saw a ghost that night, and I almost jumped out of my skin." My friend proceeded to tell me that the night I told that story, after we'd all climbed up into the loft to sleep, she was having a hard time sleeping. She kept waking up. One of the times she woke up, she looked over and saw a pale woman standing over one of the cots on the floor, looking down at the girl sleeping there. My friend said she could see moonlight filtering through the woman and could not see the wall behind her. My friend got scared and just pulled her sleeping bag over her head until she fell asleep again. The freakiest part of this is the girl who the pale lady was looking at was a girl who would end up falling through the ice the next day. I got super freaked out hearing all of this so many years later. My heebies were GB'd to the max. In the present, there's no way to get up to that loft because the staircase was removed, but my two friends and I joked that next time we come to explore the abandoned camp, we'll bring a ladder and go up there, leaving an offering for the pale lady. That's it. I'd be happy to read it for the show if you'd like me to. I have lots of pictures, but I'm going to attach a few. Yeah, I didn't read that, obviously. Sorry, Flannery. You can't read it. It's my bad. But I'm just going to attach a few that I got during our exploration. Cheers, Flannery Crump. And I will try to grab those pictures, and I'll have, Matt work his magic, and you'll hear some photo shutter noises here and there and there. And wow, did you see all those pictures? Weren't they
God.
nice?
I hope they're just
Zowie.
pictures of butts.
Faxholes.
Fax holes. All right. That was a
Honestly,
creepy one. I do
I
like
got
a
this.
good camp story. Ooh, those are creepy.
Creepy.
And again, very happy that you guys went back. No one seems to be going back. What is it, like 2 now? 3 that they go back to?
Well, I thought that
Oh my God. Okay, I found the pictures. I found the pictures. This place is super creepy. Holy shit.
Ooh. Put them in the PodFam chat. Now Moot has no excuse when it comes to adding them to the YouTube.
They're in
you
our
put something
email.
in the PodFam chat last week, and I didn't put it in the episode
Well, fuck.
because I decided
Yeah.
it was better if I just cut that section out.
Well, which part did you cut out? The hangman?
No, the Spotify, or not Spotify, the SoundCloud section. There was some other reasons why I cut that section out.
Oh, fair.
I don't remember
Understood.
what that is, so
It doesn't matter.
It
Great.
doesn't.
kick ass. Is it my turn, boys? I have story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
it is.
Do it.
This
Yeah,
do you guys want me to do J deaths?
Yeah,
You should.
probably
You
do
should.
that. Definitely.
Fuck yeah, J
Fuck
death.
yeah.
I got your story. Let's go. All right. I gotta try doing the voice. They got a good voice. Last time I can't do it. I can't do it.
You
Is
started
Jada
going into
light Yagami?
Vegeta.
No, I'm trying to channel my inner like Solid Snake. J Death sounds like Snake to me.
I'll submit a hometown horrors,
Last time.
and then they'll read it.
and
You are right.
Yeah.
I like it when I tickle Mike. It's a good time.
And then they'll read it. He's just eating a potato chip. Okay. Woosah. Let's do this. Last time I offered two options, ghosts or dreams. You guys picked ghosts, so now you get the leftovers. Ooh. This story starts when I was in middle school at the age of 13. For important context, I have always had dreams my whole life that were deja vu dreams. Like I would have a strange but mundane scenario that never happens in my normal life, and it ends up happening in a dream. Then it would happen later on in real life. Well, I don't know why this is the accent I'm going with, but here I am.
You're getting dangerously close to Nandor.
Well, when this incident first occurred, when this incident first started, I had just had multiple of these dreams come true, and they were less mundane. They had some violent aspects to them, and I don't want to talk too much about them due to personal reasons. After that, I would slowly begin having reoccurring dreams. It would feel like a massive warehouse with no roof, but I could see nothing but blackness, fog, and the smooth stone floor and wall behind me. I'm not moving, and nothing really happened for the first few times, but it still gave me very bad vibes and I felt uncomfortable. This would be the first 2 weeks before the hell started. Suddenly, one night I went to bed and was back in the void space, let's call it, with something else. In front of me was a humanoid creature with slightly longer than normal arms and legs, but only just enough to be unsettling, and a super wide grin. It had eyes that seemed more like spheres of aged milk, with small yellow-gray pupils. Its skin was dark, but mostly because it was hazy. A kind of hazy you'd see if every atom in your body was just a little too far apart and is reminiscent of Vanta Black. For the first 2 or 3 days, it did nothing. Just stared at me. It snarled in such a visceral way that it did not sound like it could ever come from something living. After that, it would begin to appear every single night, and it would have someone or multiple people whom I had seen that day. Could be someone I knew or absolute strangers. And it would kill them endlessly, ripping them apart, cutting the skin off each limb, gouging their eyes out with a screwdriver, and bending their bones in ways that are unnatural. You name it, he did it. He had endless tools, and the person never fully died. Whatever he wanted to hurt next, he would suddenly be healed, and he would keep torturing them. And yes, they screamed. A lot. Even when there was no lungs or throat left to make a sound. And mind you, I could only watch. I was completely immobile, slumped up against a wall like a doll. If I ever saw the person or people the next day, I would shy away from them, hoping to never see them in my nightmares again. This went on for roughly a year and 3/4. With the growing anxiety and lack of proper rest, my mental state was declining a lot and was very reclusive. I'm so sorry that I'm like giving it this fun kind of voice, and this seems like a very serious thing, but I'm trying to give it like a vibe. So apologies. I'm not trying to.
It's too late. It's too late to undo it now.
I'm trying to make it creepy and atmospheric, and I feel like it's coming off as I'm making fun of it, but I'm not. I swear to God, J-Death, this is fucking creepy.
What's creepier than, some classic poor mental health?
Don't make fun of me. I'm trying to be.
I'm not.
creepy.
I'm being actual serious.
Nothing can
yeah,
compare to
yeah.
the horrors of our own minds.
It's true.
Literally.
I told therapists about it, and they said it could have been something to do with anxiety from school, work, or bullying, or that I was just very imaginative. Safe to say they weren't much help. But then things changed. Instead of killing and torturing other people every night, the monster got upset that I was getting used to his violence and tortured and killed me instead. I felt every bit of it, even into the next day. Ribs ripped out in the nightmare, ribs hurting through school. My guts splayed out in front of me and chainsawed across them. I couldn't eat the next day without stomach issues and vomiting. Another year and a half of non-stop pain, agony, every single night, and this thing kept finding new ways to cause pain and suffering. Even ways I didn't think about or know could be done. Eventually, my mom, a witch, had brought me to one of her friends who did spiritual work and her to try to figure it out. She mentioned something about possible generational curse or other stuff I didn't really understand, but didn't match my nightmares at all. Shortly after that year mark, the monster started getting annoyed again, and I had noticed a glowing pair of eyes slowly coming into view, way far out in the sky behind the creature. Each night, the cosmic-looking fire that surrounded the eyes got brighter and brighter. One night, I was finally able to move a little, swatting away the creature or taking a knife to stab it, only for the knife to puff away into smoke upon contact. Then, the nightmares started becoming less frequent. Instead of every single night, it was 4 times a week, then once a week, then twice a month. Each time, the creature losing enthusiasm, despite seeming more angry at me. Eventually, it just stopped. And I carried on with my life, trying to come to terms with what I experienced, and using every day to remind myself to relax and not let the violence become a part of me internally. In fact, this experience made me less prone to violence in real life as a result. Months later, I started having reoccurring dreams again, occasionally, but these were much better. It was like seeing through the eyes of someone else in a completely different world and living their life day by day or night by night for me. I eventually used these to start writing books and eventually game ideas in film. I've yet to see the creature again, and if I do, I'm gonna eat that bitch. I still have no idea what it actually was or why it was hurting me or traumatizing me, but it was a big part of my life. I'll never forget it. Plus now, I know some gruesome death scenes for film if I ever need it.
What
And
a
that-
Duke Nukem thing to say. I'ma eat that bitch.
I'm gonna eat that bitch. Well, that's fucking terrifying. And J Death, if I can ask, could you draw us a picture of the creature?
Can you get
Can
us
you
a?
draw us a
Can you get us
picture,
a?
Mel?
Can you draw us a picture?
There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Can you get me a drawing? Because I'm genuinely curious on what this fucking thing looks like. Because I get like
Okay.
weird, like Slender Man-esque vibes, and
Mm.
I gotta wonder a little bit if was this happening? Was this happening around the time Slender Man was somewhat popular? Because if so, maybe that like inspired the creature's form or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Mm.
creepy.
I used to have
creepy.
Slender,
nightmares.
slender boy.
Like recurring nightmares like this. And my mom would have to like pick me up and carry me outside.
That by
My-
outside.
Mine weren't this
Ye-
detailed though. No, I don't know. She'd have to carry me outside to get me to wake up. 100%. Absolutely.
You probably are able to astral project. So look into that.
Maybe. I
Not-
don't know.
not
My
even
nightmares
kidding.
were always this recurring dream where fuzzy biscuits would chase me. And then like I'd fall off of like a bottomless pit. And then on the way down, my dad would tell me how worthless I was. It was fun. It was a fun time.
There's a
Mm.
lot to unpack in that
Yep,
sentence,
I
and
know.
we can do that later for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. That's bonus content for sure.
I can't imagine having just a reoccurring torturous dream that affects you physically in the real world.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
How do you sleep? How
Your
do you go to
mom's
bed
a
every
witch?
night?
That's the other question I have. Did we know that?
Yeah, I did know
Is your
that.
is your dad Greg?
Yeah. Greg Death.
Greg Death.
Greg.
Hey, you got Doug.
We can't. We don't have a
yeah.
serious bone in our whole fucking body.
No.
Yeah. So fuck.
Thank you,
All
Jay.
right.
Does that-
Well,
Very
yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Does that mean
That-
it's my
that's-
turn again? I've already forgotten.
It
the order
does.
were
Do we want to
going.
do? Do we want to do one
Yes.
more each?
Technically, we're
that's
about
what's left.
an hour and
Oh, cool.
15 in. So yeah, there's literally only
I
three.
mean, the ones that are left are pretty short, so I think we can knock these out.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with Flow Nifty and Infinifties. And
What?
yeah, well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
This is another one they signed with multiple different names. Flow Nifty and Infinity, or Infinifty, I guess. Anyhow,
Empty.
hi Flow. So this one goes like this. Hey boys, I'm pretty sure this isn't what you're looking for since it isn't supernatural, but it's too horror not to share. That's fine. Anything and everything goes here, as long as it's your story. I'm from Hamburg in Germany. When I was
Well,
like 6 or 7.
You gotta give me a German accent
Huh?
for one sentence.
Don't-
one sentence.
don't-
I'm
one
not gonna do
sentence.
it.
That's
I'm
it.
not
Just
insulted.
one
That's-
sentence.
This
It's-
person
it's
was
just-
kind
it's-
enough to give us free content. I'm not. Okay.
The only thing doing a
fine.
German accent is just gonna lead to bad.
yeah. We tell that line too much.
No, you do the little voice like Caesar chocolate. That's
Okay.
a German, that's a German
Okay, yeah.
accent. Yeah.
I'm from Hamburg in Germany. When I was like 6 or 7, a dude in my neighborhood killed and beheaded his wife. Then he brought the head to the gas station across the street. The clerk was flabbergasted. The blood trail from the head was visible for days at least. It was a pretty messy job too, from what I've heard, considering that the guy did it with a kitchen knife. Jesus. They had 2
Okay.
daughters who were asleep during the murder, according to the press. The only proof that I can provide is in German, I'm afraid. And then they provided a link. Feel free to add some shit, but I'm being possessed about him being possessed by demons or something, if that makes it more fun.
Let's add our own lore.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Also, some of the dudes behind 9/11 lived near us. That sounds weird, considering Hamburg is a long way from New York, but I guess they like the vibe of the city or something. They just had
They were-
ISIS vibes. It's all good.
They were like, "Yo, we really like Germany. They're pretty
Yeah.
straight, but
Yeah.
we gotta go blow up a couple towers real quick. It's
Yeah.
been straight, y'all. We just can't we can't escape 9/11 in like damn near anything we do now."
They've got Germans got their own crimes against humanity thing going
Hey,
on.
hey, ISIS guy, do you want to go blow up some buildings and then go get Wiener Schnitzel in
Yeah.
Hamburg?
I'm pretty sure it was Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Al Qaeda,
ISIS
man.
wasn't
ISIS.
a thing yet, I don't think.
ISIS was now. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Anyhow,
Al Qaeda.
I don't,
Al-
you
Al-
deleted it.
Al-
It wasn't. I wasn't completely done yet. There was a couple sentences left.
You dumb
Anyway,
bitch. Who deleted it?
Oh,
What do you
there's just a
mean?
link to a
It's right
Wikipedia
there.
article, and then it says, "Hope you have a nice day. Keep fighting the good fight." Thanks. Thank you.
I will fight the good fight.
Thank you, Flow Infinity Nifty
Thank
Flow
you, Flo.
from Infinifty
And-
from Hamburg.
In Flonity.
Thank you for the hamburger.
All right.
You guys are a G. 100%.
Oh, everything about that was pretty interesting. All right, I guess am I up? Is that what's happening? Or is it Mike? Did I already read? I don't even fucking know. I think it's, me.
you.
All right. Okay, we got our next story by Lady Red. And they are corpse taker in the Discord apparently.
Hell yeah.
And it says, my story takes place about 10 years ago at this point. To be honest, I don't remember. Mike, what is wrong with you? I hate you so much. I hope you know that. Just get it out. Just let it out, man. Get it
Shit.
all out.
Christ.
I'll restart. Don't worry. It's fine.
In a minute.
He's crying. Like he's like actually crying.
I think I've broken.
All right, cool. All right, so my story takes place about 10 years ago at this point, and to be honest, I don't remember. I can't remember how old I was, but I had a bunk bed at my dad's place. Now, for more context, my dad's house was a medical camp during, I believe, World War I, and his house is most definitely haunted, which has many stories of its own for maybe another time. So, to get back on track, I have a bunk bed that I used to sleep on top of, and one night made me permanently stop sleeping on that bunk. It was probably 2 in the morning when I woke up to hear a heavy scratching sound below me. Too heavy for any mouse and too heavy for the dog we had at the time, who wasn't even in my room. No matter how much I checked down there, no matter how much I screamed, the scratching didn't stop. Until my dad came into the room to tell me to go back to sleep, in which then it did stop. This was a kind of quick thing I typed up from the terrifying moment that night was, so sorry if it was hard to read. Have a good Octubre.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Lady Red.
Thank
That was
you.
pretty
Or
good.
Corpse Taker, whatever. I don't know. Everyone has 45 names, so
Everyone's got a different name.
yeah.
That's how it would be.
More sleeping as a child experiences. Those get to me on a personal level. So
Ooh, shit.
thank you for that.
Get that.
yeah. Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
hot
I
and
don't know
bothered
if you
now.
guys listen or watch Mr. Ballin's stuff on YouTube. He does tells a lot of scary stories and stuff, but he has this one personal story that he tells. He's just an incredible storyteller to begin with, but he has this personal story that he tells about a time that he went on a skiing trip and the paranormal shit that happened to him. And if you haven't watched that or listened to it, I definitely recommend looking it up because
Was he part of the Dietlov PS?
Send
no.
a link later
All
and
right.
I'll check it out. Actually, I was gonna say instead of reading a second local HGB story, should we have Matt tell his spooky story? Because we're almost at an hour and a half here, so
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, local.
Yeah.
you
got
everybody
one.
gets one.
Everyone-
Yeah. If we need him for next year, we'll keep this one and maybe.
Yeah, I'll
read
keep
it.
this one in here. Yeah.
My story is pretty short, really. Honestly, Doug basically told this story already about how he sees shadow people in his house, but I was there a couple weekends ago, and we got super fucking drunk on Friday, just like absolutely
Yeah.
annihilated, and or at least I got absolutely annihilated, and we went to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I fall asleep and wake up way before anybody else is up, and it's like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and I get up and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm hungover. I need water bad. So I get up and I wander into Doug's kitchen, and I like grab a McDonald's cup or something that was just sitting on the counter and like start trying to fill it up with water. And I swear, this has never happened to me. Something like this has never happened to me. But I swear, out of the corner of my eye, I just see a black outline of a man just standing in the periphery of my vision. And
Was it in the kitchen?
Yes, it was in the kitchen. And I was
I've seen
what
that too.
I was like, what the fuck? And I turned, like, I thought Nate had gotten up and was like standing there or something. And I turn and look, and there's just fucking nothing there. Absolutely nothing. And that's basically the entire story, but it freaked me the fuck out.
That's creepy. I had a similar experience at Doug's house too. It was right next to the fridge because your big ass TV fridge. It was in that corner by the it was right in the corner there by the fridge, and it was like we were over there playing like it was when we were like playing Magic or something. It was a long time ago.
I think I know.
But yeah, I was just there drinking, and you like went up to use the bathroom or whatever, and I'm just like in the swivel chair, just swiveling around, and I swiveled and I saw a guy in the corner, and then I swiveled back and I swiveled back again, and he was gone.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like some sort of poisonous substance in the air at Doug's house, or like part of me wants to chuck it up to the fact that I just like absolutely deleted my brain the night prior. But
I mean,
I don't know. In the moment, I was pretty sure of what I had seen.
It was them shrimp chips.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah, right. No, I think I'm used to it by now, and Liz can attest to this too. The kitchen for some reason is where whenever I see a shadow, it's usually in the kitchen. Sometimes it's in the stairwell up to the second level. Because there was the night after we had drank, or maybe it was that Sunday. I can't remember, but oh no, it was definitely
It was the
s-
next
it
night.
was
It was Saturday night. We were sitting on the couch. You said
yeah,
something
and
about it.
and I saw one looking at me from at the very top of the stairs, and I was like, "Cool, go away, please,
Yeah.
for the love
Cool.
of God."
Hey,
Because
dude.
it's just it's not like they're doing nothing, but like they just fucking they stare, and
Right.
that's creepier on its own, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
I'm
what
used
they
to it
want.
though, like I said.
I mean, they might be there to like, maybe they're like trying to like protect you, or they're guarding you, or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
I
they
had
like you.
actually completely forgotten about that and put it out of my mind because I was still I was incredibly hungover and just wanted to go back to sleep. Until that moment on Saturday night where you saw that and you said something, and then like it all like as soon as you said that, it came rushing back to me, and I was like, oh my God, that happened this morning.
You know,
We should do like a Diluti like ghost hunt in your house, Doug, just to see what
We need
happens.
to we need to get some we need to get
I
some
need a
ghost hunting
paranormal. I
equipment.
need a paranormal puck and
Yeah,
a EKG scanner or whatever the fuck he uses. I don't fucking know.
I don't yeah, no, we need like a
EMF reader.
fucking
Yeah,
EMF.
reader.
We need
Let's
a
just
ghost
Phantasmophobia
radio.
IRL in Doug's house.
Phantasmophobia.
I'm about it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go.
Phasmophobia. Yeah.
No,
I have
phantasmophobia.
I have one last story. It's very quick.
Okay.
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 Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop at one at a side of road. He turned to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much." "What is it, honey?" "Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel." "Okay, I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news report of stereos being stolen." "Good idea. Keep the doors locked no matter what. I love you, sweaty." So the guy left to get full of the car. After 2 hours, the girls say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." Then the girl hear a scratching sound and a voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and then after a while, she goes to sleep. The next morning, she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check, and man door hand hook car door.
God.
And thus,
Man, a car hand door.
It's my favorite. It's up there with Who Was Phone. I love
Yeah,
it.
who was
Then
phone?
Who was phone?
Then Who Was Phone? So thank you. I want to thank all of you again for another year of Hometown Horrors. This is our 3rd year doing it. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We have 3 years of Hometown Horrors. That's nuts.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And
it should be
many
Halloween when you're.
more.
It should be the day before Halloween that you're listening to this. So
Yes.
happy Halloween,
Have
everybody.
A good happy ween.
And for those of you listening live right now and to this recording, if you listen in our live recordings, we are not recording next Tuesday because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
shit to do. So we're probably going to pick it up maybe Wednesday or maybe we
Wednesday's the
skip.
plan, I think.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
if we-
Wednesday.
I don't know. We
There's-
already skipped an episode recently.
We
I
already
think
skipped
should
an
do it.
episode, so we won't skip it, but it will be either Wednesday or Thursday we will record. But either way, you'll get an episode out that week. It's just going to be delayed a smidge on the recording. But thank you for giving us some fun stories. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being spooky. If you want to go to any of our socials, you can find them all on our website, deludi.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Subscribe
we're
to
on-
Deludi.com and the Patreon because we haven't gotten anybody new recently.
Yeah, we
we
haven't
love
had
you
any
all.
new. We haven't had any new patrons or members in about 3 weeks. So
I think
I
they're
get it.
catching on at how bad we are at putting content out.
times are tough, and this is the Christmas time. I get it.
Yeah.
So
This is the 3
you-
months of
you
Christmas.
you can give the gift of Deludi. Give someone a membership and and make this their life. That'd be kind of fun. So go to deludi.com, become a member, or patreon.com/deludipod. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@deludipod, or just look up Don't Look Under the Internet. Check that shit out, yo. And then yeah, that just about does it. Buymeacoffee.com/deludipod. You could buy us put something there for coffee. So that's alcohol.
If you want to, but I don't know that there's any reason because there's also a donation thing on the website. So you can
That
just
is
do
true.
instead.
You could do that instead.
Donate
Um,
wherever you want. There's multiple places to do
There are
that.
so many ways to give us money.
Do whatever you want. Give us money or don't. We prefer the money, but obviously that's greedy, and we're not
You
going to
can
say
fax
give
us a check.
money. Here's my
Venmo us.
Zelle. Yeah, Venmo, Cash App, Deludify.
Cash App in the link.
Yep. So a couple things. Go to Undefined Graphics. Mike Lowy, check out his work. He does our photography. I'm going to ask him soon. I haven't yet because I'm a failure. To do photography for some of our clothing. I need to get more clothing from the store, but expect that relatively soon so we can have some photos for the website. But he does some really great graphic work in photography. So check out his stuff. Check out Ghoulish Mortals out in St. Charles. Go out there, say hey, tell them Diluti sent you. It'll put a smile on their face. Check out their show as well. They just covered Pumpkinhead, my personal favorite movie of
Yeah,
all
I
time.
saw that.
It's fucking great. And
That's coming up on my 31 Days of Halloween movie.
it's so good. Such a good movie. And then I want you to go check out Unplanned Podnancy.
Yeah, I swear that episode's gonna be out this week. I swear, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, we're doing the dang thing. It's there. It's happening. But yeah, love you all. Thank you for everything.
Go to our YouTube and just let videos play just forever.
That too, and
Please.
then send us DVDs of Megamind in the PO box that is in the description. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I'll check it again one of these days. There's a package there, and I just keep forgetting to go get it. So.
The links to everything important is in.
Surely
the
they've sent it back at this point, and that person's just pissed.
If you send us a package and it returned to you, send it back.
Sorry.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll send you. We'll fucking quick pay you $5 or something for shipping. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, cool.
That's really all I got. Doug, what do you got for the people?
Keep being fucking scared about shit and having weird shit happen to you so that we can keep doing these episodes, because eventually you're not going to have any more stories for us, and we have only about 5 listeners. So come on, everyone, get spooked and scared and slap those beans against your beans and
Moot
stuff.
Moot, somewhere within this next 30 seconds, if you're gonna edit anything into this video, or audio,
just a big fat fart.
No, edit in just like a jump scare somewhere within the next 30 seconds. Don't tell me when. Don't tell the people when. Just let it happen.
Okay.
Moot, what do you got to say to the people?
I think I'm feeling a genuine one tonight. So if you listen to this, if you listen to any of our content, watch any of our content, or just interact with the podcast in any way, thanks. I'm glad. I swear to fucking God. Fuck it. All right. I'm done.
He was
That
being
ruined it.
nice.
No.
No, do it. Be nice. Do it, please.
You said put a jump scare in for the next 30 seconds.
Not you.
So I did it.
In editing.
No, I just appreciate it. I appreciate that I've been able to do this for the last year plus, and you guys are what makes it possible.
Well, we appreciate you, Matty Moo.
Booty mutt cheeks.
You make our life so much richer, so much more fulfilling.
It is nice that I'm very happy that I have been able to call you a genuine friend of mine.
Person that you know.
A genuine person that I am aware of in my life.
All right.
Yeah, love you.
I'm bad at feelings.
I love you. I love you, Doug. I love you both. I love you all. Have a blessed night, and Christ be with you on this Halloween.
All Hallows Eve. Enjoy. Be spooky. Do stupid things.
Hail Ratma.
Hail Ratma.
Hail Ratma.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Welcome back to Inner Night. We're excited to have you back for another night of spiritual connection.
If you see cattle grazing in a large open field, you might assume that it is living a fulfilling life. Chances are that bull is going to be visiting the slaughterhouse very soon, and its meat will be eaten by many beings that it never knew or saw in its lifetime. Just because you see it thriving one day doesn't mean some other force is plotting to end its existence the next. However, if you take that same cow and put it with people who want to see it fulfill its life, they will let it graze that same large field for as long as it likes. There is no impending threat other than nature. And when nature does come, that meat will be consumed by those it trusted. Better to live and die by those who help you live than be ripped apart for your contents and splayed across the earth. We hope you trust that we will help you fulfill your life till the very end and prevent it from getting cut short by strangers.